The river in the sky, the Nile.
Is that one of the Decas?
Yes, it's one of the, there's Orion, there's Auriga, and there's Eridanus. You see, he is opposite. The red dragon is opposite the rock of God, the bull. The opposites are always, you've got to check the opposites, right? Sagittarius is opposite Gemini, right? Capricorn is opposite Cancer. Probably be better if I pull this down. And this sky chart, this is the one that will explain all the mythologies. You won't have to worry about interpreting the Vedas or the Mahabharata or anything. It's this. So you look at your opposites, okay? Capricorn, Cancer. Aquarius, John the Baptist with King Herod. The fish and the bread, Christian symbols. Aries and Libra. Here the Jews begin their sacred year. Here the Jews begin their secular year. And that's how it's... See, notice the green and the red. This is the Red Sea, the winter. Because springtime, the blossom, sun comes up, blossom. Everything begins. Everything begins over in Aries, okay? The horoscope begins with Aries. Right Ascension starts with Aries. The equinox is there at Aries, so the blossom represents the start of the season because everything's dead here, so it starts here. And this is the Easter, the Passover, the Lamb of God that takes away the sin of the world because of the winter months. The sun now is growing, and so the fruits, and then the harvest, and then you preserve the fruits so you can survive the winter. And then bang again, the blossom. It's the sperm of the sun. That's what it represents. Matter is born at 0 planes. That's a 0 plane, last time I checked. 12 hours of night, 12 hours of dark, the 21st of March, the equinox. These are the magic days. These are the solstices. That's the cross. Matter is born at 0 planes of equal potential. That's where matter is born, at equal planes of equal potential. 0 planes of equal potential. Polarization builds it up to maturity at 90 degrees, because this is polarization, the feminine signs. Earth and water pull. See, the cardinal points, fire and air are masculine. That's a phase of electricity. And another phase of electricity in the sine wave. But these 90 degrees pulling away and giving amplitude to the wave is what causes the matter. And let's hear how Walter Russell puts it. Builds it up to maturity at 90 degrees from 0 planes, depolarization, then returns to 0 point at its birth. So, at that equal point, that's where the blossom begins. That's where the matter, the fruit starts and begins. So there's, matter is here. It's not here. Here is just death and cold and winter. Because in the northern hemisphere, of course, remember that. It's opposite in the southern hemisphere. But the mythology still stands and it still applies to us in the southern hemisphere. Please don't be confused. All you need to do is to understand this is probably one of the greatest books that you will ever read, along with his other one. There are 2 volumes, Thomas H. Burgoyne, where he explains all of this. All of it. That's where I got it from. Here he explains why the slippage of precession does not affect the science of astrology, nor do the hemispheres of north and south. It's just an illusion. The point of equilibrium here is the point where this Earth receives its electric pulse every year. That is the point. This is the great magical point, right here. And that's why everything happens here. Everything happens in Aries. I can give you a bunch of reasons why. I've written them down here just so that I could share this with you. Aries. First degrees of Aries is right ascension, cardinal fire, cardinal being close to the source. It's cardinal fixed mutable is birth, growth, decay. That's what it is. So spring is born here, fixes here at the cross quarter day, and then decays in the mutable sign. And the mutable always has two 2 natures, man and horse, 2 fish, and Mercury, 2. Duality, mutability. So spring is born, fixates, then changes, okay? The horoscope begins here. Adam Kadmon begins there. It's the head of the man. See, can you see the head? There's the neck, and these are the chakras. Right? This is the spiritual wisdom that was bequeathed to us. That's the man. That's Adam Kadmon. In fact, this is the ascendant, this is the descendant, and this is the meridian. Adam. That's Adam. The man above. So below. You see how we need this science so that we know who we are? God damn it, we need this science. It's there. It's just there. You can just point to all the... I can go on and on and on, and you've probably seen some of the videos where I do.
It explains the grammar of everything, really, doesn't it?
This explains everything, man.
It's like sort of like the ancients have compendiumized everything right down into basically a seed.
To this one science. This is ISIS unveiled, man. We've just unveiled. This is the key to understanding everything that happens electrically in this universe, because it's an electric universe. Here it is. The 1 becomes the 2, becomes the 3, becomes the 4 elements, becomes the 7 planets, and the 7 chakras that are in there, becomes the 12. And that's why Jesus has 12 apostles. The 12 tribes of Israel. We're all the 12 tribes of Israel. I'm Aryan. Hands up. Any Geminis? Sagittarians? Scorpios? Well, this is it. This is Benjamin and Naphtali and Asher and Dan and Gad. We are the Israelites. These are the 12 tribes of Israel. Israel is the sun. Isis, Ra and El is this wheel. And they hide that. And this is the disgrace of the churches. And this guy, when he busted them 170 years ago, 30 years after him came Kersey Graves, and he revealed to the world in this book that the 16 crucified saviours that are to be found all over the planet are one and the same person. It's the Son. And in his address to the clergy, you want to read that, 5 pages where he says, clergy types, your business, it's over. It's over. He said that 150 years ago. He gave notice to them back then. Why are we still here? And the churches have so much power? Because this is the power of the illusion. We need to bust the illusion and help churchgoers, because they will never be saved by waiting for someone to come and save them. Salvation and ascension and consciousness comes from within. We don't do the work, we don't get the cookies. We don't. Now, interesting, when you put videos out on YouTube, you get comments. And some of them are great. One guy, he says to me, Santos, you know how you said that Little Red Riding Hood, the sun... Let me read that from John Thackeray Bunce's book, okay, on fairy tales. This is written in the 1800s. Just for the people who have not seen my astrotheology videos. There's the Earth, there's the equator, there's the Tropic of Cancer, there's the Tropic of Capricorn, and there's the sine wave that pretty much, there's the sine wave, right? That's the obliquity of the ecliptic, because the ecliptic is the path of the sun that it appears to make as it goes around, as our Earth goes around at 23.5 degrees. And the obliquity is 23.5 degrees. The true science is this, that sine wave is closing in on itself. In 140,000 years, it will zero out. The axis of our Earth is not fixed at 23.5 degrees. It does one complete 360-degree revolution every 2,160,000 years. Now, did I say 2,160,000 years? That's the width of the moon. That's the harmonic of everything to do with precession. This is the magic number. This is the magic number. And that's how long it takes for the Earth's axis to go right around 360 degrees. You know how they say to you that, the Chilean earthquake and the Japan earthquake caused the tilt of the Earth to straighten up? No, that's what happens when you're a consensus scientist and you study effects rather than causes. It's the tilt of the Earth that is causing the earthquakes. And some other things, which I'm going to reveal, because once you understand how the solar system works, then you're going to be onto these scientists and why they're telling us little stories.
Does the planet grow every time we make Sirius?
Yes. No, well, the planet is, I'm going to get to that. The planet is expanding. It was once much smaller. Earth, as its orbit slows and its rotation increases, so all planetary bodies, their rotation increases and their orbits decrease in velocity. So they keep a balance of centripetal and centrifugal forces, and they don't fly off on a tangent, okay? This is what your scientists won't tell you. He says, oh, the sun's in the middle of the solar system, all these planets go around it on the same plane, virtually on the same plane, right? Some of them are a little bit skewish, but the point is that they claim that we are orbiting the sun. We don't. We orbit with the sun. The sun is corkscrewing through the heavens at massive velocities, and the planets, Mercury is just sitting behind it, rotating it every 88 days, Venus, and as they do, their orbits slow down and their rotation speeds up as they grow, and they go further and further away from their primary, and then they become stars, which our Earth is becoming. It's becoming a star, because planets are embryos. They are not born. Stars are born, and that's what we are destined to be, according to all the... Look, I brought Ovid along. I brought the greatest of all of the books that talk about the soul, Scipio's Dream, and this is Macrobius's commentary. Macrobius was a Roman writer in the 4th century who explained this. I'm going to read out of this. So, Little Red Riding Hood, as it is told in our nursery tales, is the evening sun, which is always described as red or golden. The old grandmother is the earth to whom the rays of the sun bring warmth and comfort. You're starting to get this, right? The old grandmother is the earth to whom the rays of the sun bring warmth and comfort. Isn't it beautiful when you start understanding the fairy tales and the Bible and all those grotesque stories like Jonah being swallowed by a whale, Samson killing 1,000 Philistines with a jawbone of an axe, you know? I mean, come on, like God's going to bless him as a judge for going around killing people. He killed 30 men that came to his wedding. Sorry, no, he didn't kill 30 men. He killed 30 men, murdered them for their undergarments and their cloaks. Because he made a riddle on his wedding night. He said, look, if you can guess this riddle, I promise you, whoever guesses the riddle, I will give you 30 undergarments. He said this to his 30 men that came to his wedding. See, 30 is... These are the 30 men. Samson is the son, because Shimshon, you Arabic? Yeah. Good on you. Shimshon, what does it mean? The son. Yeah. It's the little son. See, so Samson, one of those judges of Israel who kills 30 men, that's the sun when it goes through a sign. When the sun goes through Aries, it kills the lamb. And it slaughters the lamb, and the lamb was slaughtered. How many times do you read that in the Bible? So Shimshon, as he goes through those 30 degrees, he kills... So at his wedding, they guessed the riddle. So he was like, oh no, all flustered. Now what am I going to do? I've got to make good with my promise. So he goes down to the village, I think he goes down to Gaza or one of those cities there. So you see the history is all painted into it, so it looks like it's historical. It's one of the tricks that they do. And it fools people. So he goes down there and he slaughters 30 men, takes their underwear and brings them back to his friends at the wedding and says, there you go, there's your